So we're live through the fire and flames for that fire. So here's the plan. This is an experiment for a talk I'm giving tomorrow to see if my idea is valid. I want to basically on stage build an entire app from scratch to prove how productive the JAMstack and this modern architecture of modern web apps and stuff like that is. So I need to be able to get it done in like 30 minutes, build an entire app from scratch that is offline, has a backend to store data, potentially even logins and stuff. Hey Fuzzy Buddy, so in the next 30 minutes or so, we're going to try to build that based on an idea I have in my mind. I don't know yet if it's going to work. If it doesn't work, I have to redesign my talk for tomorrow. If it does work, then we're good. So I'm going to set a timer. And the reason I want to get it done in 30 minutes is that I have like a 1 hour talk that gives me enough time to do an intro and then an outro and like explain stuff. And just doing the live coding in 30 minutes is, where do I find the timer? Basically, it's a hedge so that I don't run out of time on stage. So let's see. Starting the 30-minute timer, press start. Let's do this. What we're building, by the way, is a simple app based on the cube rule of food identification. You might not have heard about this, but we're trying, basically, is taco a hot dog? Is hot dog a taco is what we're gonna ask, and I wanna make it a app that collects that vote from the audience so people can tell us whether hot dogs are tacos. That is just complex enough that you need a backend to store the data, and you need some nice front end so that it works on mobile and loads fast and all of those cool things. So we're going to start a completely new project from scratch. We're going to say Gatsby create a hot dog taco. Let's see. Gatsby create hot dog taco. No, it's not create. You mean clean? Gatsby build new. Gatsby new. Gatsby new hot dog taco, and let's see if we can build this in the next 30 minutes. Right now it's installing and initializing Gatsby, giving us all of the basics that we need. And we're gonna obviously build a, oh shit, no, I'm doing it wrong. rm-rf hot dog taco. And make dir hot dog taco. And then we're going to say cd hot dog taco. Gatsby new web, because it's the web client. Alright, so the web client is initializing, that's creating the client stuff. While that's happening, we can start working on the backend. So we're going to say make dir server, cd server. The server is going to need a, let's see, what is it going to need? It's going to need, why do I always forget this part? It's going to need a serverless YAML, and it's going to need a handler.js. The handler.js is going to be our project for handler.js is going to be the JavaScript backend code. I'm going to do git init so that it's easier to open stuff in VS Code. Then we open it, random coding, go to hot dog taco. We are now at 27 minutes. We got this. So, and the idea behind this whole experiment is that I want to show people, instead of just telling them how productive this stack is, I want to be like, here, I can show you. So we're going to say hot dog taco service. I'm going to call it an experiment right now because I want to change that later. I want to use the hot dog taco namespace at the actual talk. And then we say provider. I always forget this part. Why do I always forget this part? Let's go to one of my older projects so I can copy paste some of the code, because that is totally legit. We're going to say modern app starter repo. That one has all of the good stuff. I can go to server. Where is it? Serverless YAML. So provider name AWS, runtime Node.js 10.x. And we say stage is dev. Do we need an environment? Yes, we're gonna need environment later. And we actually, yeah. And then we say we're gonna have a GraphQL function because I like GraphQL. and our handler for the GraphQL is going to be /handler.js, and it's going to respond to HTTP events. The first one it's going to respond to is going to be the GraphQL path with the method get and course enabled, and we're also going to respond to post events because GraphQL likes post. So also GraphQL, and we say method post, course is true. What else do I need? That's it. So that's going to be, that's the main GraphQL function. Now we go into server and we say yarn init, name server, yes, version 1.0, server for hot dog taco stuff, entry point is fine, index.js, we don't care, we don't need the repository URL, we say I am the author, license MIT is fine, we don't need it to be private. Then we yarn add. What do we need to yarn add? I should kind of memorize some of these things. So we're going to yarn add. We will need the AWS SDK, we're going to need the Apollo server Lambda, the GraphQL stuff, and let's add a the UUID. So I'm installing that stuff. I might start tomorrow with this pre-installed so that it's easier to do, so that we're not waiting for slow Wi-Fi or anything like that. Cool, got that. Now I can create the repository. We go into handler.js. I'm going to look that up again because I forgot. So handler.js needs to say Apollo server and GQL from Apollo server Lambda, right? Yes, and I need to set that to React mode because I prefer that styling. Then the basic stuff we need is type defs are GQL. We're going to define those with the so let's see, what do we need? We need a vote type that has, let's see, vote ID, which is a mandatory string. And it has a created at. Come on. String created at, which is also a string, and we're going to say, what should we say? Let's say that we're going to have them is hot dog taco is going to be a boolean. I think we can have booleans. GraphQL boolean, I can verify that today, I don't want to check that tomorrow while doing the talk. Basic types, GraphQL JS tutorial, boolean, perfect, we have booleans. So then we're going to need to have a type query, which is going, so the first query we're going to have is all votes. We don't really need anything else, and that returns all of the votes, so an array of votes. And we have a type mutation, which is vote, and the vote mutation is going to take is hot dog taco, which is going to be a mandatory boolean that it needs to accept, and it's going to return a list of all votes, right? So we're going to have basically a GraphQL mutation that lets you add a vote, and we're going to have a GraphQL query that lets you grab a vote back from the system. Then we create the server as new Apollo server that takes the type defs and the resolvers. We're gonna need to define the resolvers, and we export const handler equals server.create handler of, so it needs to get the course from any origin, and we also allow credentials to be true. I always forget what exactly that means, but it's okay. And then for our resolvers, so const resolvers equals, god damn it, I should really practice this a little bit more. So we're going to have query and mutation resolvers. So wait, is that just an object? Yes, it is. So we have the resolvers, const resolvers, we have query and mutation resolvers. So we have an all votes resolver that doesn't accept. So all votes doesn't accept any arguments, or is that true? No, it's not. It's gonna get some arguments. It's going to get an argument we don't care about. Actually, we don't care about any arguments with all votes. We just return stuff. So it's an async resolver, right? Because it's going to return async stuff. And we have the mutation resolver, which is going to be a vote resolver that gets something, and it gets a hot dog taco, like that. And this one is come on, async. Why is my computer lagging so much today? So I think nobody's really watching, so I can't ask you how the stream is doing. But we got the query, the mutation stuff is hot dog taco. Now we can we SLS deploy this already? I'm not really sure. But we got this stuff. Now all votes, I know what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna also need to define a DynamoDB database. A DynamoDB database is easiest defined as, we're going to say environment, and what is the environment going to say? Why do I keep forgetting all of this stuff? We're going to have a votes table, which is self-service minus votes, and we're going to also say self-provider.stage. That's going to give us a well-named table. And I'm going to just copy the IAM role statements because there's no point in typing those. Like that. And let's tab this in, and we say votes table here. And then we need to create a not a service, but basically we need to tell AWS to create a database for us, and that is just resources, and we say $file DynamoDB YAML. I can copy that one as well. So this gives us the resources that we need, like that, I think. Yes. So we have the votes table, which is an AWS DynamoDB table, and it has attribute definitions. It has a vote ID, which is a string, and a key schema where vote ID is an ID. Read capacity units, we don't need to care about that. And then we take votes table as our table name. Cool, so that's saved. That should then create everything we need. And I'm going to, not DynamoDB YAML, but what I can copy is the DynamoDB helpers. So I'm going to touch dynamodb.js, and I'm going to open dynamodb.js, and yeah, I think I'm going to prepare some of these things in advance for myself. So we say import AWS from AWS SDK, and then we say const dynamodb equals new aws.dynamodb.document client. So this is now creating like a tiny abstraction layer to make it easier to talk to the database. And we're going to have, what are we going to have? We need a function that updates an item and a function that gets an item. No, we need a scan items. So scan items, it gets params and returns a promise, which we don't really care about. So params, scan items is a function that is going to scan our entire table of votes. So we take the votes table. I think my cheesecake is ringing, so I will be right back in a minute. I just need to turn down the oven. Alright, I'm back. So the scan items and the update item functions I'm going to have prepared in advance because these are very boring to write and they're not that important. So yes, my cheesecake was ringing, Brian. I am making cheesecake for a friend's birthday party tomorrow, and it is a delicious pumpkin cheesecake. So I have this, where we now have scan items and update item in the in our helpers. Now in the handler, that means we can say import, what was it, scan items and get item from ./dynamodb. That's like a helper. I really need to open source that helper, now that means that in all votes, how do I use that again? Why do I always forget this shit? I need to remember this shit for tomorrow. Ah, yes. We can just scan items, that stuff, I think. We're gonna see. So all votes, we say god damn it. So scan items gives us a bunch of stuff back. Why don't I have an example of scan items here? Why me? Okay, so all votes is going to say const result equals scan await scan items. So tomorrow, Brian, I'm giving a talk down at the Silicon Valley Code Camp, and my talk is basically on how let's do console log results so that it's easier to see. It's basically a talk on how productive the modern web has become and how easy it is to build entire projects and products. And I wanted to, instead of just telling people that, I wanted to show them. So we've got that. I'm going to run SLS deploy so that we can see if the all votes query or mutation works. And I have a feeling we're not gonna get this done in the next 13 minutes. I am not giving myself enough time. So while that is deploying, we can go to the web part, run ls, and this we have the basic Gatsby configuration. What we need to add is stuff that I always forget. Again, we go back to modern web apps. Come on, where are you? Modern, no, back, okay. Wrong thing. We go to the web part, and I'm going to look at some of the things. I'm gonna need yarn add AWS SDK. Do I actually need that one? I'm not sure. And we're going to need Gatsby image, Gatsby blur, GraphQL tag. Yes, we are going to need the GraphQL tag, I think. And we're going to need isomorphic fetch. And we're going to need React Apollo hooks, and maybe React spinners. No, we don't need React spinners. So this is just giving us the ability to connect to our GraphQL backend in the code base. Now SLS is still running. Wonderful. Okay. So SLS ran. Now let's see if we can open the Apollo console. Is that run internal server error? Responded with the status of 403. Why is that happening? Let's go look at AWS and see why it's breaking. My account. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Maybe I won't live code tomorrow. Maybe I'm going to just walk them through the code base. That could be a better use of everyone's time. Open CloudWatch log. No, I need CloudWatch, not that. CloudWatch. CloudWatch. We go into the logs, and we look for, this is hot dog taco. Come on, hot dog, no. Where did it deploy? Hot dog taco experiment, dev GraphQL. Okay, error type, user code syntax error, uncaught exception, unexpected token, in user function loader.js, bootstrap. Okay, I have a no. What am I doing wrong? Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I don't have a compile step because I usually compile my code, and this time I didn't. So we have to say const Apollo and stuff equals require Apollo. Yes, that's annoying. I hate doing that. Require DynamoDB, like that, and then in DynamoDB we say const AWS equals require AWS SDK. Come on. So we've got that, and now let's try SLS deploy. And while that's happening, we can yarn start the Gatsby server. My head is kind of scratchy. So yarn start the server, and then we can go into web/Gatsby browser, and come on, close that shit. Gatsby browser, and we're going to have to tell the browser to connect to our GraphQL backend as soon as it can. So browser has run. We have this will basically Gatsby is now up and running locally at least, and we can check what's going on if it manages to actually load the basic page. Cool, it says hi people. Now we're going to go into index.js, and let's say SEO title and then hi people, and we can say h2 is hot dog a taco. So that's the question we're asking people, and we're going to, let's take this, and is there a better image we can take? Taco cube rule. I'm gonna just take this thing, and we're going to say save image as. We're gonna save it directly in our thing, documents, random coding, hot dog taco, where are you? Hot dog taco app, new ABCDEFG. So you know how when you're trying to tell my brain is doing too many things at the same time. Hot dog taco, web, we go to web, source, images, and we save 03 hot dog. And then we open the image thing, there we go, and we're going to say, what was it, 03 hot dog.jpg. Just replace that because that's going to be easiest, hot dog.jpg. Cool, and now this has a wonderful blur up effect, and let's say max width 600 instead. Now go build something great. So hi people is hot dog a taco, and we're going to add two nice buttons here. We're going to say button, yes, hot dog, and let's add a button that says no taco. Cool, we now have two buttons. They don't look a lot like buttons, but that's okay with me. Let's wrap them in a paragraph because we're not trying to win beauty contests right now. We're just trying to make this work. So we have buttons that click yes, no. Great. Now the next step, we need to actually hook up Apollo and I'm going to check how to do that because I always forget. So Gatsby browser, we're going to just import React Apollo hooks. Well, we need Apollo provider, so we wrap things in Apollo provider like that. Oh, and we need to create the Apollo provider there, which we will. So import client from /source Apollo. We then render an element like that. Cool. And I'm going to copy this into the SSR version as well, because that otherwise you end up having trouble when you try to build. And I'm gonna, so some of these things I'm going to have already prepared tomorrow. Some of them I'm going to just write from scratch, and we will see. We create the Apollo service thingy, web source Apollo Apollo.js, and we're gonna need to update our URL. So update the URL, server URI, like that. That gives us, we should now have a working Apollo setup on the Gatsby front end. So in the browser, when Gatsby runs, we now have access to our to our GraphQL server, and there are 4 minutes left on the timer. We're actually getting pretty close. It might not look like it. Let's see if the GraphQL thing runs. No, something is still wrong with my backend. Let's see what is wrong with my backend. Runtime user code syntax error, unexpected token. Oh, what did I do wrong? Oh, I know what I did wrong, I think. Serverless YAML. We are saying /handler.js. Is it handler.js? It should not be that. It is a different thing that I have to tell as the specify as the handler. Serverless YAML from the old project. It's actually GraphQL.handler, and I am exporting it as GraphQL const handler equals, yes. So it's /handler handler, or let's say GraphQL. That's gonna make more sense. So we have handler and we export GraphQL. SLS deploy again, yarn start, so that we start the Gatsby website. And let's see, Gatsby, will you run? Okay, I'm now in a holding pattern where I'm waiting for two things to finish, and I can't really do either of them right now. Okay, now Gatsby develop, generating can't resolve GraphQL language visitor in Apollo client. What? Language printer. What did I not install? Web package JSON. Where are you? We say package JSON from the web. What am I missing? GraphQL tag. I have that. I think what I'm missing is GraphQL itself. Gatsby source GraphQL, that should work. GraphQL tag. What the hell is going on? Let's see. What is can't resolve GraphQL blah? GraphQL language printer. I had to explicitly add GraphQL. Okay. Yarn add GraphQL. Will that make it work? Okay, so that's running. Let's see, can I open the Apollo playground now? Please load. Nope, still a server error. What the hell is wrong? Maybe I should just suck it up and do this with TypeScript. And now it's not opening anymore. Why is AWS fucking up? CloudWatch. Okay, let's see, CloudWatch, logs, GraphQ, hotdog taco experiment, bam, runtime user error, unexpected token. Where is this unexpected damn token? Damn it. Okay, I ran out of time. Okay, I am not sure why this thing isn't running, but it's probably, who knows what it is. Async await, that should work in, not really, I think it's this stuff. This is probably something that doesn't work in Node.js natively, does it? So I'm going to suck it up and install the TypeScript compiler, even though I don't want to write TypeScript right now, but it's just going to be faster that way. So we say, I'm going to add a blah. So we go to package.json for the server. I'm going to copy the scripts command here. And that, again, this is going to be something I will have pre-prepared tomorrow. We make their source, and we move, web, wrong directory, make their source, move handler to source handler, move DynamoDB to source DynamoDB to source. Oh my god, seriously, move source dy to source DynamoDB. God damn it, move source DynamoDB to source DynamoDB.js. And we go DynamoDB.js. We can now change this back to import AWS from AWS SDK, and we go into the handler server source, and we can say import. Okay, I'm basically now just trying to see how quickly I can finish it. From Apollo server lambda, from DynamoDB, and import. Okay, cool. Now you need to be in React mode, and I'm gonna copy the ts config because I don't want to write it from scratch. New, paste, burn in server ts. No, come on. Random coding, hotdog taco, server tsconfig.json. So I'm going to have some of these things prepared tomorrow, because otherwise I will have trouble. And in package.json, do we have an entry point? No. So package.json for the server doesn't need a main, but the serverless YAML does need to say that our handler is in dist handler. So this handler.graphql, perfect, get status. Oh, right. And I can say yarn build in the server, and let's see if it builds. No inputs were found in config file. Spec files were blah. Okay, tsconfig JSON, we say, all right, so we need to move this stuff to be JavaScript. So we say move source handler to source, I mean it needs to be TypeScript, and move source DynamoDB to source DynamoDB.ts, and we say yarn build. Let's see if it's going to build. Please build. I think there's going to be type errors. It's going to complain about things. What is it complaining about here? Okay, come on. TSC, build the thing. And now let's go yarn start in Gatsby, see if that works. So is Gatsby loading now? That would be cool. Is hotdog taco implicitly of any type? Yes. Scan items, get item. We're not, has DynamoDB, oh, because if we go into our handler, we have scan items. We are scanning the items from DynamoDB.ts, and is hotdog taco is a boolean, right? Right, and this is an any. What's it? Boolean is declared, but its value is never read. Yes, I don't care. Scan items, duplicate, scan items, and update item. So scan items, params, any prom is unknown, and an argument. Okay, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to copy my usual DynamoDB wrapper, DynamoDB TS, like that. We go to DynamoDB TS in server blah, like that, and we are going to, we don't need that, we don't need that, we are not going to need get item, so I'm just going to keep that. But this is the votes table, and this is the votes table, and this is the votes table, so that now should work. We're going to need to import some style, not serverless YAML, package JSON, and I say yarn add types AWS lambda add types /GraphQL add types /UUID. Okay, so we've got the type definitions installed. Yarn build, please work. Yarn build, this is going to complain about stuff. In GraphQL tag, why is the web stuff complaining now about? I've never had this problem. rmrf.cache yarn start on the web part. So we do have Gatsby. Oh, I think I do have Gatsby. Obviously have Gatsby installed. So binding element boolean implicitly has an any type. What? TypeScript boolean. Surely boolean is a type in TypeScript, basic types. Boolean. How do I do a boolean? Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong, obviously. Handler.js, no. Okay. Handler TS in server source. We have GQL, scan items, expected 1 argument but got 0. We don't actually need any arguments for the scan items, but is hotdog taco needs to be defined as a boolean, like that. So now we've got the boolean, and let's see. Oh, we can actually check now what the result of scan items is like. So if we go scan items params, what does the scan output look like? So if we go to scan item, we get items, and we can just return those. So we can say result return result dot items, and this thing is going to return const result is, so our mutation is also going to return everything. Actually no, our mutation should return only a single vote. So we're going to say we have const result is await update item, where we pass in what is it that we have to pass in. This is going to be a shit show tomorrow. So if we go into the server, what do we pass in? GraphQL queries mutations. So we need to pass in the key, which is our vote ID, which we're going to generate, update expression, which is set created at as created at equals dot created at, and we're also setting so we're setting created at as created at, and we said that we have an is hotdog taco. So is hotdog taco is going to be is hotdog taco, right? So we got that. With expression attribute values, we define those as created at is our created at. No, created at. Then we have is hot dog taco, which is hot dog taco. That's the one that we're already passing in. And then we return values, basically everything that is returned from the database when we create the value, right? Now, close that shit. Now const vote ID is going to be UUID v4, and we're going to import UUID v4 from import UUID v4 from UUID/v4. Yes, and then is hot dog. Then we need to say const created at equals new date. No, dude, what is this autocomplete doing to a so string? Okay. Boolean is not assignable to type string, number, null, or undefined. So if is hot dog taco, we're going to say hot dog. Let's just save it as yes and no. Yes and no. This is terrible from a design perspective. Actually, we can probably save booleans. So let's just save a boolean and go to our definition of expression attribute values and add booleans, because we can totally save booleans in DynamoDB. Cool. So this should now be our entire backend. Now I'm gonna try yarn build again. Let's see if it builds, and then if it does build, we can deploy it and start using it. In the meantime, we can try to figure out what is missing here. Generating SSR bundle failed, can't resolve GraphQL parser for GraphQL tag. Let's see, what are all of the dependencies we have in a working project on GraphQL. Gatsby source, Apollo boost. Oh, is that what I need? Yarn add Apollo boost. I think that's something I might potentially need. Web package JSON. So this is very important. Before I do this talk, it's important that I did this this little experiment, because otherwise, who knows what would have happened tomorrow at the talk. Binding element boolean implicitly has an any type. I'm not binding it anymore, am I? Source handler TS. No, I'm not. Like this is compiling the wrong damn code. In source handler TS line 33. Line 33 doesn't even look like that. Let's run ls rmrf dist tsc. What will tsc do? Actually, ls source. Okay, now let's run the TypeScript compiler and see if it compiles this shit. Generating development JavaScript React must be in scope when using JSX. Cool. So we are making progress. We need to import React from React, and we need to do that in the SSR thing as well. SSR. So Apollo boost was the thing that I was missing, was the dependency that I was missing. We can now go back to localhost 8000. We have classic sandwiches, grilled cheese, Reuben, PBJ, hot dog. Let's see if we can make that load a little bigger. Let's say max width is 600. Wonderful. Is hot dog a taco? Gatsby default starter. Should we? Let's take that out. We don't need the header. Like that. Bam. Hi people, is hot dog a taco? Actually, let's change that a little bit. Let's go back to index.js. I'm even gonna take away hi people, and we're gonna just say is hot dog a taco. Wonderful. And let's add some margin and top. Margin top is, let's say, 2 rems, like that. So that's going to now move down a little bit. Perfect. And we're going to remove the link to page 2 because there is no page 2. Now what we need is to make these buttons actually work. Let's see. Okay, TypeScript now runs. So if we run yarn deploy, we should get a working, basically a completely working GraphQL server that lets us save votes. So we're going to now say const vote button. Vote button is going to be a button that accepts children, and vote, and it's going to accept is hot dog taco as a parameter, and it is going to return a bunch of stuff. It's going to render a button, and yeah, it's going to render a button. So let's see, vote button, vote button, vote button. We have yes and no, and vote button renders the children. So we get that basically the content of the button comes from where we're calling the component. Yes, and then we're going to import. Let's say, what are we importing? We are importing use mutation from React Apollo hooks, and then I have to remember how to use mutations. How do we use mutations? I need to be doing this stuff a lot more frequently and a lot more often. Images, components, images list, image upload. Is there a mutation here? Use mutation. Why have I not used a mutation recently? Image upload, images list, create album button. There we go. Use mutation. Okay. So we're going to say const vote, and the data and the loading state are going to be use mutation, and our mutation is going to be something with the variables. So we are setting a variables, and we are sending just the is hot dog taco variable into our query. And for our query, we're going to write a vote query, and this vote query I'm going to borrow again from queries because this is going to be tough tomorrow, isn't it? We're going to also import GQL from GraphQL tag, like that. Now we have const vote query equals GQL, like that, and the GQL says mutation vote, which gets the is hot dog taco variable as a boolean that is mandatory, and then it runs the vote mutation and passes in is hot dog taco as $is hot dog taco. And what it gets back, what do we want to get back? We want to get back the, what do we want to get back? We actually want to get back, let's say, the vote ID, and let's also get back the created at, because that kind of makes sense. So on click we run vote, and then if this is currently loading, we are going to render voting, otherwise we render the button, right? So when you click on that, it's voting, and then once it's voted, it does the things, and we're going to console log our data just because we can. So the server deployed, we should have now a GraphQL backend that is fully built. So I can run GraphQL. Oh my god, why does this shit still not run? What is wrong with this? GraphQL type error. Okay, that's better. Syntax error, cannot parse unexpected character. Okay, why is there a GraphQL error in my handler TS? Let's see, what did I get wrong? What does the stuff look like on the web, on the server? Yes, server. So I'm looking at GraphQL TS. Yes, that's the one. Aha! Why did I do that then? So for some reason I typed semicolons when I shouldn't have. I'm going to yarn deploy this again, and this time I hope it works. And I hope I don't make this many mistakes tomorrow when I am presenting this in front of an actual in-person live audience, not just a camera live audience. So we now have, this will actually vote when we click on things. And what should we do afterwards? Let's add a use query. So we're going to blah 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 index.js. The index page is going to run a use query. Yes. So vote button, and then underneath here we're going to say, so this is going to return the layout stuff, and we're going to also use mutation, and let's create a const get votes query, which is going to be a GQL query. Come on, GQL query that says query all votes, which doesn't get any arguments, and returns a list of let's say all votes. That returns, what do we want it to return? It needs to return, god damn it, why am I having such a hard time remembering the syntax for this? We need to get all votes. Oh, we need just is hot dog taco, and let's also get the let's just get everything. So we want to get is hot dog taco, we want to get the vote ID, and we want to get the created at time. So we now have the query, which means here, how do I use query again? Const, I think it's going to be data and loading. Let's look at here, source web. So I'm kind of borrowing a lot of stuff from create album bottom, images list, use query, where are you? Why am I not using that? Images list, use mutation, no, image upload, image.js, is it in there? Use query, no, that's not the one. Come on, I know we made this. Image upload, create album button, use query, no. I know it should be in image upload. Use state fetch pre-signed upload URL. Okay, let's just look it up in where? Modern App Workshop, Modern App. Will this one have it? So I'm trying to remember exactly how use query works as a syntax, and I'm having some trouble. Actually, Apollo use query, Apollo React hooks, GraphQL docs, use query, loading error and data with variables. Okay, so we have loading error and data. From use query we pass in the vote query. Come on, vote query, and we don't need any variables or anything. Cool. So then here underneath we're gonna say, if this is currently loading, we say loading votes dot dot dot. Otherwise we're going to render the actual votes. So we're gonna say, actually let's do it this way, there votes blah, and we say const votes equals a function that doesn't take any arguments, and it returns loading, says loading votes. Let's say that this is a paragraph. Just turn it off. And we take the vote query stuff here. And if the votes come, we're going to render null for now and just print them out. Alright, so console log data and error. Now let's see, this deployed. We can go into, please load. How is this still getting an internal server error? Experiment. Runtime handler not found. This handler GraphQL is undefined or not exported. Okay, so if we open server dist handler GraphQL, yeah. Oh, because it's just grep. Oh my god, that was a terrible typo. So I need to go back to handler ts GraphQL. We're going to deploy this again. While that's deploying, use mutation has already been declared. Use mutation, yes. So we go back into index.js and we say use query instead of use mutation. And the funny thing is that this is actually now, the front end is actually already implemented. So the front end should now be working, must contain a query definition. What does? Okay, so what if we say like this? Because it's a query without anything. It's a query that doesn't accept parameters, guys. Expected name found blah. Okay, what if it's just like this? Will that work? Must contain a query definition. Why is this a problem? I've never had that problem before. New invariant error. Okay, let's see first. Okay, this deployed. Wow, that was actually pretty quick. Now will the Apollo playground load? Yes, we got the Apollo playground. We have to update this to be dev. Great. So now if we say query all votes, all votes. Okay, so it's query all votes, and we wanted to return vote ID and created at, and if we play that, it says that there are none. Perfect. So that means we should be able to use the same query in get vote. Oh, that's what I did wrong, I think, because yes, this is get votes query. So we want created that, and we want is hot dog taco. Cool. So now this should load. Yes, classic sandwiches, that's loading. We didn't get anything back, and all votes is now, it says that there are none of them. So if I click yes, that turns into voting, and it voted. There was an error, response not successful, received status code 400. Cool. Let's see what the actual response was. So if we go to the response, actually headers, operation name, preview, message, variable is hot dog taco, required type boolean was not provided. Okay, so is hot dog taco, because, and it wasn't provided because I did not pass it in when creating the vote buttons. So we say is hot dog taco equals true, and here is hot dog taco equals false, right? Right. Okay. Reload the page, and now I should be able to vote that a hot dog is in fact a taco. and let's see if it's saved on the backend. Go here, DynamoDB, NoSQL database, tables. Come on, load. Show me the tables. And we look at hot dog taco experiment votes, items. There is a vote there. Yes. See, it says I voted hot dog taco is true, and we got the vote. Wonderful. That means if I reload the page, we should now get all votes was vote. There's one vote, and we can go through them, and we can say const yes. Brian, I have not played with FaunaDB yet. What's it like? Have you tried it? Go data.allvotes.filter, and we want to get is hot dog taco. Or let's just get D. So filter D, or let's say vote dot is hot dog taco. We accept those ones, and we say no equals data.allvotes.filter vote dot is hot dog taco. Like that, we return blah, and then we say strong, and we yes divided by no times what 100% say hot dog is taco, and we round this to math.round yes divided by yes plus no. That will dot length. We need to add lengths. Length. We have 50% say hot dog is a taco. What? No. Yes. How? There's only one vote. And let's say yes plus no votes blah. So why is it 2 votes? All votes is an array. Well, oh, that's why. Yes, thank you below 13. The second filter should indeed be like that. Okay, so we have 1 votes. Come on. Cannot read property all votes of undefined. Yes, that is in fact correct, because we are loading votes and data must also be defined. Return loading or not data. Let's see, all votes is undefined. Why is all votes undefined? Oh, that's why all votes is undefined. God damn it, I am an idiot. Data and data.allvotes. Let's just do it the hacky way. Now this will reload. Bam. So 1 vote, 100% say hot dog is taco. If I click no, then this doesn't update live, but we can make it actually can we make it update live? That would be cool. So we click vote. I'm just gonna make it so that you have to refresh, because that is easier. Cool. So we have a small service that I don't know how long it took. It took about an hour. Now what happens if we run now on the web side? It should deploy, and then all of you should be able to vote on whether a hot dog is a taco. Let's see if that actually manages to deploy. If it doesn't, then I'm screwed. Error while retrieving image from cache. Blah. Okay, that is still deploying. or it's still building and doing stuff. libmagic, why is it so why is it making this so complicated? It does not have to be this complicated. But let's see. How long is this stream so far? The stream is just about an hour. Okay. Waiting for this to finish and then we are done. And I'm gonna have... I think this is going to be... What do you guys think? Is this going to be a fun experiment to show on stage? That you can actually build something like this surprisingly quickly. At least I think it's surprisingly quickly, and I'm going to have more of the things prepared in advance so I don't have to do as much copy pasting. Ugh, fetching packages. Why is this so... Why is it making it so hard? But let's see if it manages to finish. Platform Linux is incompatible with this module. Right. So that doesn't work. What we can do is copy // no, serverless handbook now .json here, now .json to here, and I'm going to open now JSON and I'm going to say scope swizets, and let's name this thing hot dog taco. We don't want the alias thing like that. And now if I run now, it's going to actually... Brian Ball, what was confusing about it? Oh, I guess a lot of things were confusing because I was just rushing through. But what I'm trying to... Primarily my point, the goal of my talk tomorrow isn't going to be so much teaching somebody how to do this. It's more about... Wow, you can actually do this. It's like, it's actually possible. And then the teaching is something that, you know, it's meant to be more inspiring than something that's teaching you a whole lot. But let's see if this manages to build now that I've used the JSON config file. So waiting for that to finish. This is the slow part, unfortunately. There's not much I can do about that. But let's see. And then on stage I want to go as far. Yeah, but DHH Ruby on Rails was a lot more built out when he built that blog in 15 minutes. This is going to be a little bit harder than that because I haven't automated a lot of the manual process yet. But I probably should. Okay, so now if you go to hotdogtacoswizetsnow.sh, so you all can now go vote on whether a hot dog is a taco. And we are all going to vote on the same database and all of that and share in the results. Yay! So that works, and it's deployed, it's live, it uses HTTPS, it's server-side rendered. So check this out. If I go offline, let's see, network, oh no, if I go offline it's not gonna actually work. But I can go on a slow 3G network, fakedly, and it should still load relatively fast. Wow, okay, relatively slow. But I can... How do I disable JavaScript again? I always forget. Command Shift P. No, that doesn't work. Okay. So anyway, this was a relatively successful experiment. I see that I need to prepare some of the groundwork in advance so I don't have to do it on stage tomorrow. Other than that, this works. And we now have more and more votes. Nice. I'm happy that people actually click the button. So thanks everyone for watching. I will see you again on Sunday when I will be focusing on building the... I really need to finish my blog migration, so I'm gonna be doing that on Sunday. Thanks for watching, and have fun the rest of your evening or Saturday or whatever you're doing. And I hope some of you come to my talk tomorrow if you're in the San Jose area and coming to Silicon Valley Code Camp. I don't know how popular of an event it is, but I hope there's going to be a good crowd. So thanks for watching. I will see you again next time. Bye.